Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the wonderful game of Manor Lords Perfect Peninsula build. So in today's video, we're just going to take a quick glance at everything we've accomplished so far. We've got a nice industrial district up, okay? This is very awesome. Over here, the Flexo is doing fantastic. One of the things that we're really going to need to dial in over here is the market stall location. So let's zoom in, get some nice little views. You can see we have the apiaries all around us. Now, I kind of want to explain how to think about market stalls. So you're going to want to think in 20s, and that's because of the way food stalls currently work. Now, they are potentially working on a way to upgrade your food stalls. So you can just take all of these same equations, and we'll just say food stall max capacity. Currently, it is 20, all right? So remember that consumption and supply and demand are different things. How goods are consumed is different than the supply and demand. Now, the reason you want to get your supply and demand to 100% purely for the approval bonus. This allows you to do two things. After 51%, you attract one family per month. After 75% approval, you attract two families per month. It allows you to attract families faster. Also allows you to tax higher amounts, because if you go below 25%, you will lose a family. And as the game progresses, I'm sure that there will be more things involved with this. That's just currently how it works. At tier 3, you need 4 food types. The way that the market currently works is it will stock exactly how much food you need to hit those quantities. You have to use an overstock feature to get more than that. So for instance, let's just say a hypothetical scenario where I have 20 berries, 20 meat, 20 bread, and 10 eggs and 10 vegetables. Now, if all my markets are spread across and singled out, I would have to have 5 stalls for that. But what I could do on each of those stalls is just set an arbitrary overstock number so that those stalls are always full. It's kind of like a set it and forget it. It's completely overkill and completely unnecessary. So the way I have things set up, if you were to have just one giant marketplace, you wouldn't need as many stalls as a setup like this. But on the same flip of that coin, the system is going to change over time, and I think that this method I'm showing you is exactly the way to do it, because it makes the most sense to me. Second, the position of the granary is a little bit more important than market stalls right now. Because if food exists in the granary and the market stall, food is being automatically sent via like Amazon drone from the in an order of operations now. It's actually depleted from the granary, and then if that food item is not available in the granary, it's then consumed from the food stall. It's pretty crazy. People are still exploring that. I've been talking to people on Discord. I don't think that's the way it's supposed to work in the future. It's the way that it's currently working right now. You could, in theory, as long as you are not running out of food, move your market stalls to a weird place. But I don't want to get into, market stall math with you guys. I just want to talk about efficiency. So we're essentially going to have potentially a few more market stalls than we need. But the offshoot of that is that we get to dial in our granary around where goods are being produced, which means significantly less travel time for that granary worker. So if you were to use a mosh pit system and you wanted to have your food scattered throughout the other area, you're already going to have additional granary workers to run the massive distance to those things. While this would technically use more market stalls than the mosh pit system, I think it uses less granary workers because of how efficient the gathering is. But let's get into the math of what you really need. So because goods can be intermingled, technically speaking, a tier 3 burgers plot will require 4 market stalls for the 4 food types for every 20 burgers plots. Or if they ever expand it, it's 40, then you'll use 40 as the basis for all that. For every 40 burgers plots, you need 4. For fuel, they can intermingle, they don't matter, you only need one type, so you need one general supply per 20 burgers plots. And for clothing, you need 1 per tier of clothing available, which is a maximum of 2 right now. You'll need 2 general marketplaces per burgage plot. Now, since these 2 can be shared in the beginning, you can get away with 1 for quite some time. If you want to think exponentially, that's what it's like. So basically 4, 1, and 2. So when you go from 20 burgage plots to 21 burgage plots, you're going to need an additional 7 marketplaces to fulfill all of the supply and demand needs of tier 3 burgage plots. So you can see it costs quite a bit. In this scenario, we're going to be 1 or 2 over, because what I'm going to be doing it based on is how many food types I have in a general area. So for instance here, I'm going to have 3, but over where I'm producing both berries and meat and bread, I'm probably going to combine all those food groups together because you can intermingle. If you don't like any of that, just throw it all in a big pot and don't worry about it. But if you want your cities to look a little bit different and you want things to be dialed in, then continue watching this video because I'll go over it. So what does this all mean? It just basically means that once we've hit our max families up to 20, now we want to go into a giant growth spurt. We're going to go off of basically 40 burgage plots, which is 6 food at tier 2 buildings and 6 more general markets. So in total, I'm going to need 12. And then we're actually going to do something a little bit easier for ourselves. We're just going to do 2 here for now since we don't have any other food types. We're running pretty low on meat. But over here, we're just going to leave the 2 food stalls. We're actually running pretty low on food. We're in a growth period, so we have veggies, berries. Soon we're going to need to get into all the apiaries over here too, which is why we place them down first. But first, before we do that, I want to get the boardwalk up. Because I think it does look really cool having these little bridge boardwalk areas. Kind of cool is that you could technically use the road from the boardwalk, but I think it's going to cause issues. And second, I want my men facing the other way anyway. So we're going to get this going. I also want to place a well right here on this map. Just to have water. I like to have water sources near people because, like I said, they do physically go to that location. Right now, everyone's coming out here to get their firewood, which isn't terrible. But eventually, I want to do a marketplace and a storehouse here for firewood. And we'll figure out how to make that work nice. We may actually just put the marketplace here, use an overstock feature, and have them run the firewood up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 double burgage plots. Perfect. We can go all the way up to 20 here, so we're just going to build as many as we can. All double burgage plots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. This is great. Oh, look at that. We got more boardwalk. Perfect. Alright, we're going to leave it just like that. Okay, so we got ourselves a nice little boardwalk area right there. Level the houses up against it. We're going to do the same over here, where we layer houses, but since we're going to 40, we're going to leave it the way it is, because we will most likely use these 2 guys here, and that's 4 more burgage plots right there. And then in the inside here is going to be a combination of taverns, granaries, other things. The next thing I'd really like to do is start getting crossbow men, because they are very OP. So over here, we're going to get our boot production. We need tools. So it does kind of hurt. You can make tools yourself, or you can purchase things. Now, I do actually think that so that's the like what comes first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing. Well, we need a blacksmith shop to make tools. So I'm basically forced to buy tools. And I really don't like that whatsoever. That's what we're going to do here. We do have the first rank of trade logistics, which is why it's my 3rd point. That reduces these costs dramatically. So come over to your tools, hit import, purchase the trade route. We're going to set this to 5. And then we're also going to start importing iron slabs. We're going to set this to 10. To keep the costs down, import that. And then we're going to get a blacksmith shop. Let's get this to tier 2. And a cobbler's workstation. Eventually, I will start selling more bows, which is one of the reasons why I really want all of my saw pit stuff over here. Boards have to be moved by foot. It is a pain in the ass. It's much easier to pull logs down here than it is to pull the boards all the way down here. And if you put your storage boards up there, you're kind of shit out of luck, because if you build anything, they have to go get the boards and bring it. So when we build this wall, for instance, it's going to take several hundred boards. They would have to walk each of those boards. For that reason, I just think it's much easier to log the logs down here. Ring around the rosy that will help out with moving these goods. There is a road right here. The mining pit is now out of clay, so we'll just destroy that. Eventually, we're just going to start importing clay. For the time being, we're going to take this individual out of the clay furnace because he's no longer needed. The saw pit, I think, is fine with just the 1 person for now, but if we need to increase the amount we have, we can do so. We have what we need, so this individual right here is going to make boots, and this individual right here is going to be a blacksmith workshop. And we're very close to the large storehouse and everything around us, the tannery. So this is really nice. It's a good synergy here. And then we can pull workers from any of the farms into these industry jobs that are not time dependent. Anything that is time dependent, like farming, we will never want to use any of these individuals. Or basically granary, storehouses, and farming are all off the table. The perfect job for these individuals is definitely apiaries, which we're going to get up momentarily. Okay, and now it is time to go crazy. The food should start pouring in here any moment now. We have more than enough food that people won't starve with the berries, but it's going to take just a slight adjustment time for us to get everything going. Everyone having a little back out into the boardwalk. It looks like it, at least. They don't really. But we got ourselves a nice little speedway. It's actually kind of nice that we have this indent here because they seem to be using it, and that's great. So they have access to this other side of the boardwalk. Yeah, that's fantastic. We'll definitely want to have a road going up this way and connecting at some point. But this is looking perfect. I mean, this is dope. I really like the way this is all set up. I think it's important to have a city that looks nice, since everything in this game looks identical in some ways. It's all in the eye of the beholder. I think there's a kind of an irony because people say they could never build cities like this because they want it to look organic, but then they show me pictures and their cities look like 100 other people's cities. So that's why I like to come up with designs that look neat and organized, because in reality people are organized. This to me is actually more realistic because I think this is how other people would organize. So a regular well supplies 15 burgage plots. Stone well supplies 30. We have more wells than we need. We may even use a forester to fill in some trees once everything's cut down. The trees do look kind of nice in the backyards. So they started building. We're going to set a boot quota of 100. I'm thinking we're going to have around 50 burgage plots. We're eventually going to start selling boots, but the leather, especially with a rich animal deposit, is going to go big time up. So they started building sidearms even though I didn't want to. So pole arms and iron parts are going to be grand. So iron parts we're going to cap to 30. And we're going to make 30 of those. And in the warrior shop, we're going to start making crossbows. And we're going to limit crossbows to 30. But more importantly, it's going to allow me to grab a couple more guys. Upgrade these hitch posts. Let's get another ox. We got lots of ox. And we're at 100% variety, so we're doing great. Very good. We got a stone well. We're going to buy barley, and then we'll go from there. Very nice. So that's what a regular well looks like. And then the stone wells look like a stone well. So that's really cool. Yeah, the animation on that's really nice. So everybody has easy access to water. All right, and the 5 families that are freezing are the ones that I kicked out of the manor. So we were able to destroy the manor, so now we're gonna place it here. Perfect. Commit. All right, and then what we're gonna do is have an entry here with a V around the manor. I have 2 layers of wall, and we're going to have all our archers sit behind it and shoot out. It's going to be wonderful. Beautiful. You can see in the distance someone walking up the walkway to the granary. The winter months look very, very unique in this game. It is definitely a full city. The trade post is looking very nice too. But yeah, we're doing fantastic. Take a quick little jaunt around what all this is looking like now. And so this is going to be the path to the church. This is the combat grounds. That's why we have it blank like this. Eventually I want to deforest everything. Maybe even line it with some shrines. This is going to be where we place some vendors here momentarily. And then we got the boardwalk housing. When these are all tier 3, it's going to look freaking insanely good. And I'm not sure what we're going to put in the backyard extensions yet. I might do eggs over here. So yeah, I mean, you might as well do something with it, but what you need to make sure is that you have the granary workers to facilitate all that. Might have a granary over here for eggs and another granary over here. And unfortunately, they have to pull all these boards and stone by hand. Only the logs are sent via ox cart. Again, that's why I wanted storage here rather than all the way over here, because it's even longer. Yeah, this one was a bit harder. What I did was I took a line along the edge, and then I contorted the curve to get to places I couldn't before. And I moved it just a little bit at a time, so now I'm going back like so. And so what we're going to do is just build out the best one we can, is like this. There we go. That's actually pretty good because it took me about 10 minutes to figure that one out. So essentially just do very small increments as close as you can to the edge, like so. That way you can walk it back if it doesn't look good, and then use the curve tool. You can see I got like a little bit, but not good enough. You could even just do this a little bit at a time if you want. But yeah, it's a little, you can get a curve on it. You can get it into an area that you can't naturally. But yeah, we're gonna have to play around with this one for sure. I found that these curves are a little bit more, you can move it just a tad bit. Let's try coming actually from the other direction. Yeah, you can see we can pull it down now a little bit better. This is hard. We basically have to get it over the edge, so it feels like it's in the air. This is the hardest one right here. Okay. That's gonna have to be good enough for now. Alright, we got it going on now. The city is growing. We're at, as you can see, 32 possible burgage plots. They're going for the area that I wanted, which is Wildfield. So we're gonna have to start getting ready for war. Let's get our first crossbow unit in check. Right now we just need to grow our population so that we can fight. We're still bringing in the treasury. The manor is almost up. Good. We're gonna have to add one more person now that we're getting the multiple food types. And we're gonna go into apiaries now. So we're just gonna put one person in each apiary. But we have 10 individuals. We need one more individual for this apiary. I'm just gonna place a person on queue. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 apiaries. Yeah, we have a bit of construction going on, but we got 16 living spaces for individuals. We're over the 75% threshold. This is when the game really shines for us, as we're going to just have so much food. It won't tell me how much a crossbow sells for until I get a route. I've always found bows to be the best. Increased costs for crossbows since we're importing, I don't think is going to be worth it. So potentially I will probably sell bows. Alright, and our logging camps are now getting full. So we can see here, this place is getting depleted. All the trees are starting to grow back here. We're just going to continue to leave everyone up here. I'm going to boot each of these logging camps down to one person. We're going to take those 2 people. Now we have full apiaries. And we have full production of all of our buildings. This is beautiful. Alright, a band of raiders have appeared, like a magic Pokemon. Alright, Clefairy has appeared. Okay, so we have, it looks like 4 Progrons are going to come from this side. I mean, these are all really great locations. Honestly, this is a good place for potentially a storehouse. I think this is a great location for the joiner's shop right there. We're going to put that guy right down there. See, it's a beautiful, beautiful place we have. Does look like they're gunning for the bridge. Oh, they went past the bridge. Okay, so they're going to go down and they're going to try to attack us from across a bridge. And this is not going to go well for them. There we are. We're going to go into cinematic mode so you can see it all. Here is the bridge battle in all of its glory. Crossbowmen are where it's at. You can see that the crossbows are going to really start mowing people down. Oh yeah, that crossbow wave, that took out so many. Alright, one of the men routed. Might actually be better to get him a little bit back. Further back, they might be able to get some more pop shots off. We're going to send those guys in to help attack. Too bad I can't get like a half bridge out or something. You have to make full bridges. Alright, let's see if there's any position that they can attack from. Sometimes you just have to let them do their thing. Alright. Maybe in the future what I'll do is a V. Like I'll have my men come in like that. And have a little bit of a poke out spot. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull back. Because this isn't working. And then we're gonna let our units get them. Yeah, we're gonna let them in. Perfect. Now we can charge back in to hold the units up. Go. Gotta run the archers. We gotta run the archers! They're so unresponsive, it kills me sometimes. Literally kills me. People literally die. Okay. Alright. Yeah. Once we get more effective units on the bridge, yeah, I'm gonna do Vs in the future. Like, but different kind of Vs. With just a little bit of room that they can look outside. Okay, cool. We're good. And the crossbow came in too. Alright, awesome. We lost a bit of spearmen, but that's okay. Like I said, we're going to get a joiner's workshop up over here and start making spearmen. Oh, but there's a little bit of a bug, it looks like, with the cold. These individuals should be going into the new manor, but they got all weirded out. All right, yeah, reloading fixed that problem. Fantastic. That's good to know. So if you have that cold bug when you move a manor, just reload the game, and that will do it for you. But let's get some nice graphic views of this awesome. Oh, dude, this is a cool view right here. You got all the people harvesting. You got the lake. You got the cliff. Yeah, this is a great spot. I wish I had a farm like that. I don't wish I lived in this time period though, because you know I'd probably be dead by now. Probably from like an eye infection or gout. There's lots of things to build up. Lots of bridges. It's looking really good. Once we get more houses up and once we get the benders up, it's going to look even better. These are the manor folk. They're just chilling over here, having a good conversation. It's a good thing we have a church right next to us because the war did leave a lot of folk in need of burying. So I'm going to want an additional crossbow militia. And we're going to want an additional spear unit. And then more crossbows. This is going to be our setup. Eventually, I'll get rid of the bowmen. But for now, they're serving a purpose. We'll eventually get into bread production. But for the time being, I'm just going to focus my workers on making sure everything here is perfect. This is what it looks like from the other side of the river. I think it looks pretty dope. So that is the flexo over there. The boardwalk in our housing. The church in the distance. Very cool. I'm actually going to bump this up to 7 families because I feel like we may be missing out on some berries. May have to do my math on that one. People are a little sad because of the war and the folks that died, but they'll get over it. They always do. Right off the bat, I do want to get another 2 granaries right here, just as an extra precaution. We're going to get one more marketplace up. It's going to look nice and dandy there. And then we're going to get the tavern up right here. And I'm going to get a single burgage plot up right here. And the sole purpose of this burgage plot is going to be alcohol production. 33 too, so we have 5 more burgage plots we can build until we're at 40. And then we want to get all the families in, and from 40 we want to go to 60. So we're going to try to time this pretty well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. We'll get these guys up, and then we'll have a little bit more room there. And then we'll have some more room there. And then there's also room right here for more burgage plots and more room right here for burgage plots. And then, yeah, we're good. That will be the peninsula. And this should get us up to, I would say, 60 burgage plots. All right. So I want to get the garrison tower up. We're going to get the garrison tower up right here. That way we can get more retinue out. Time to start grading out veggies. So we're going to want to sell anything over 360. 200 there. Yeah, we're still having a hard time keeping up. Get another horse. And let's get a 4th person in the trade post. Alright, so now we're going to sit at 38 and 2. We're going to sit at a perfect 40 burgage plots. Our market stalls are going to be really well optimized. And we have more people than we know what to do with already. I got an enormous amount of people. So I can go into bread production. And every time I go into a new food production, it's going to lower the consumption of other goods, which is good and bad. All right, we're going to upgrade this to a large tavern. I found the large tavern just does much better. All right, so I was having a pretty massive issue with taverns, and it was a complete issue on my side, not understanding it. So the large tavern serves up to 100 burgage plots, all right? So when I upgrade this, it's going to feed 100 burgage plots. So there seems to be an issue with multiple taverns, so it actually does kind of feel like 100 burgage plots is going to be the optimal amount that you can grow to. And that's a pretty high population. There was some weird infighting between the taverns when I had multiple taverns. So we're going to get rid of all the taverns and we're going to go to this system. Just wanted to clear that up. Do not build multiple taverns unless they fix this, but this should work going forward. We would just want to have everything right here. And we'll just import all the barley right to this granary. And let's upgrade both of these granaries. Got a well there. We got a well here for these houses. Let's see if we can even get a well into this area. All right, we're going to switch out of this area. And then we're going to turn on the foresters here. They should be doing a good job, but it doesn't look like they were set up yet. Go. I just slam them full of individuals. And then over here, we're going to turn these foresters off. We're going to get this area going now. Perfect. Good shape. We have 6 months worth of fuel, so we're going to need to step this up. We're also going to want to get a forester up over here. This one you can just leave on indefinitely. 76%. We have lots of families moving in. We're doing fantastic. And we're going to start importing just raw clay. It's important to set limits on everything that you're doing in the future, but we're going to import barley for now. Buy a route. And we're going to import 10 barley. And we're going to buy a clay route. And we're going to import up to 10 clay at a time. It doesn't matter because we've set a limit. So once we hit, our limit on clay tiles, they'll stop importing. But what you need to do is make sure that you set a limit, which is what I forgot to do last time on your malt house. So we want to set a malt house limit. That way we're not just producing infinite amounts of alcohol. And most likely my malt limit's going to be like 40 or 50, which is still excessively high. And then we can set an alcohol limit too, so that we don't go over like 100. But we want to set limits for every stage of production, or otherwise it will just go haywire. So import stone. This is why I think getting the perk that lowers trade route costs is really important. Let's keep 40 stone at any given time on hand. I think it's time for us to start selling planks. So we're going to sell anything over 100. It's an easy trade item. Got a lot going on here. We need them to move these goods out much faster. And we are eventually going to, because we're going to these crazy populations that I would never go to, we're definitely going to need the markets here. But they can, like I said, market stalls only need to be stocked once. As long as there's food in the granary, they'll eat that first. So this won't be as inefficient as you think. And it's really close either way. This is really, really close. One more storehouse worker, just to get things flowing right. I like to be a little over redundant because I do have the families for it. We're losing money pretty quick right now, but that's okay. We just need to keep upgrading all these houses. We need to hit tier 3 as fast as possible now. And that's where things are going to shine. We're going to get a bunch of soldiers and we're going to have a big army. Apples are doing pretty good. We're not at maturity quite yet. Berries, you can see, are starting to deplete. We're going to need to get into bread to offset the berry issue. Most likely, I'm going to pull all the flour in over here, potentially. We're going to want our flour production right here. And then I think, we may just do a granary for bread and all that out there. Like, we may just keep it all out there to keep it efficient. Like, I might just make an area with, like, multiple farms in the circle with a granary. And, yeah, like, it'd be cool to have a granary right next to where all the bread and grain is stored. It'd probably be much faster. We might have to use one more person in the marketplace than we normally would have, but the efficiency gain just from not having to cart all those goods all the way is going to be huge. Okay. So we need to put one individual into the forester here. We can see that the firewood cutting is really starting to take hold. 7 months of fuel. No farmhouse. Work area empty. Okay. This is getting a bit crazy over here. Put 3 people. I think what we need to do is start thinking about the future. And the future is telling me get 1 more firewood cutter up over here. And let's actually come back and revisit this area and put 1 more firewood cutter up here, because these are pretty close to where storage is, that I think it's efficient enough. All right, we're going to put 1 tavern worker in. So 1 malt, 1 tavern. We got this burgage plot. We just need the family to move in. All right. Well, we got a lot done, so stay tuned for the next episode.